Welcome to Can't Say That on Christian Radio. I'm Terese. Okay.
Was I supposed to interrupt you?
Nope, you weren't. Welcome to Can't Say That on Christian Radio. I'm Terese Main.
And I'm Jesse Gable. We are hosts of Main and Gable, Afternoons on Family Life.
A lot of times we talk off the air, just about life, and we think, man, that would be awesome to talk about, but can't say that on Christian radio because we like our boss and he doesn't have time to answer all the emails that we would get over some of the things we want to talk about. So we decided we would start a podcast, of the topics that we would talk about if we could and that we should.
Well, so the first time I really met with Terese and we were talking about the show and we were going to get into it in a month, she said, oh, by the way, I got in trouble because I said the word booger on the air, so you can't say that. And I was like, what am I getting into? You can't say, don't we all have boogers? I mean, I'm not going to do a whole break on them. But,
right. Yeah.
And then I said the word, I'm ashamed that it's even coming out of my mouth, but I said the word dingleberry once, and that was a whole big controversy. We got emails.
Our poor boss. So. Yeah, I had to answer to that. I think it comes down to a critical spirit, and when we look at other Christians, we can sometimes be more judgmental with them than we are with ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it's not fun to have a critical spirit. I know, because there are often times that I do have a critical spirit, and it's not fun to be around people who have a critical spirit. Now, God made this critical nature, discernment, to be good. But with any of the gifts that God gives, when we take it to an extreme, it is not good. And so there is this kind of destructive tearing down that happens. Jesus says this quote, "Judge not that you will not be judged. For with this judgment, you will be judged with the measure you use it." And a lot of times people will say, see, you can't say anything about anything because you judge not. And that's not what it's about. It's about using your discernment in the same way that you would want someone to use their discernment with you. And you got to realize, as somebody who listens to the radio or listens to podcasts, that we're just people. We're regular people.
We're regular Joes. Here we are.
We have days that are not great. We have days where we doubt. We have days where we make mistakes.
We have boogers. Crazy.
I've never had a dingleberry, though.
I thought that was just a made-up word. I didn't know it had another meaning.
It's an actual thing. And I think the reality is that if we are going to exist in this world, we can be in the world without being of the world. Mm-hmm. But there is always going to be some overlap, that happens because
necessarily
the more that we are kind of bubbled, in our own little Christian bubbles, and we don't actually get in the world, the less ministry we can do with the world. And I would imagine there are probably more people who listen to our show who don't go to church on a regular basis than we would care to think. I love that there are so many faithful Christians who know their Bibles so well, and they're so quick to use that scripture to justify, any complaint or criticism that they have. But at the same time, Jesus was this incredible balance of truth and grace. And if we can't extend grace to one another, it makes me worried for what grace looks like for people outside of the faith.
That's the thing. I have friends who grew up in church and we went to the same the vacation Bible schools together, and they've turned away from the church. And in any conversation I've had with them, what we always kind of circle back to is they don't see the mercy and the love and the Jesus. They see the cranky church people. And I feel so bad that the Jesus I know is being masked by that. So if I can at all communicate in a way that makes sense to them, talk about things that they're going through too and that they see, I want to do that.
And so we just thought, man, there are some things that we can talk about that do have implications for Christians in a forum where maybe we can go, well, what about this? Or what about this? Or I'm still wrestling with this. and not be put on that Christian radio pedestal, where Jesse and I can just be real people who struggle with real things, who are friends with each other and who talk about stuff that sometimes is super spiritual and sometimes is not at all.
Super dumb. Can't say that on Christian radio.
You can't say dumb, that is for sure. But sometimes we talk about stuff it's just dumb.
Wait, can I say the word stupid on here? Yes. Oh.
Another area that I think is important in our thought life is instead of focusing on what's missing, instead of seeing, the negative, what's wrong with everything, as believers, we're called to think about what is true and honorable and pure and lovely and excellent and commendable and praiseworthy. So yet we can't ignore injustice. We can't ignore things that are false or ugly or imperfect, but we can't dwell on the negative because that just makes you a cranky Christian. And I don't know about you, but I am not drawn to cranky Christians. They're not the kind of people I want to hang out with.
What my dad said once was Jesus gathered 12 fishermen together, and they went and hung out, and they camped out, and they went sailing together. You don't think that maybe once or twice they joked about boogers? You don't think maybe after some bad fish they cracked a few jokes? I'm just throwing it out there. A bunch of boys.
All right.
I don't know what Jesus was saying.
I don't even want to think about what the smell of that room was, okay? Because a bunch of guys covered in fish guts, that is not going to go well. So we hope you'll go on this journey with us. We've got all sorts of potential topic ideas on the way, and you can always be a part of the conversation when you connect with Main and Gable on Facebook or Instagram, or go ahead and email us. You can find the contact info for Jesse and I at familylife.org. Thanks for being a part of Can't Say That on Christian Radio.
Thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, you could subscribe, maybe. And if you really liked it, you could always say so by making a gift to Family Life, the ministry this podcast is a part of. Just go to familylife.org and find out more about what we do.
Big thanks to our producer, Josh Allen. Did you know that Family Life offers a whole bunch of podcasts like The Calling? It's a podcast that encourages those who lead churches, or Every Single Journey, to encourage unmarrieds for what God has for them. And 10 Minutes With, an interview program with faith-based artists and speakers, all free and on demand at familylife.org/podcast.